Hi, my name is Andy, and I've been a professional tattoo artist for 15 years. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about tattoo aftercare and what you need to do as a client to make sure your tattoo looks fresh and bright for many years to come after the tattoo's done. During these years of tattooing, many tattoo artists suggest many different ways to take care of your tattoo. In this video, I'll be going over what I think is the best way to care for your tattoo, not only in the immediate time afterwards, but in the long term as well. Make sure you watch all the way to the end because you get more ad revenue if people watch your entire video. I'm just kidding. Make sure you watch all the way to the end because that would just be the right thing to do, and make sure you get all the information you can out of this video. So with that, make sure to share, like, follow, and all that good shit with your buddies. Okay, so let's say your tattoo is now just finished and you're exhausted, you've been on your tattoo for 6 hours, your body's all wore out, and now your tattoo artist is trying to explain to you how to take care of your tattoo. Here's typically what I would do for a tattoo that I just did. First, I would try to clean it as best as I could with green soap or peppermint soap or whatever kind of soap I was using for the skin that day. Once it's clean of all the bodily fluids and all that stuff, I'm going to put down a layer of what's called saniderm or tagaderm, as some people know it. Now originally this was very similar to IV paper they would use to keep an IV in someone's arm. So what happened was somebody later developed it for tattoos and it absolutely killed it. It is probably one of the best things you can use for your tattoos to cover it with this second skin type stuff. Oh, and by the way, since I'm not promoting any particular product, from here on out I will be referring to it as second skin just to keep everything fair and square with everybody. Also, I should mention that I am not sponsored by any particular company. I just like the stuff and I've been using it for about 4 or 5 years now, and I really do think it is the best aftercare. Now the best way to put on the top layer or second skin is to cut the shape of your tattoo and make sure there's at least an inch of area around the tattoo that can cover it completely. It's also a good idea to make sure you have all the hair shaved off before you try to apply this second skin. In my experience, the hairs on the arm will lead to the product falling off a very short time afterwards. Plus, it's extremely painful pulling out all those hairs with the bandage. So your best bet would be to completely shave the arm as best as you can so that there's no hair underneath the bandage adhesive. Your tattoo is going to be draining fluid in the next couple days. This is completely normal. It will probably stay a little bit red too. That is completely normal as well. As a tip, if you're having problems getting the bandage to stick on someone's area of the tattoo, take rubbing alcohol and rub around the outside of the tattoo. Don't actually touch the tattoo itself, but rub the area around it. That will help dry out the skin so that the adhesive will stick better. The fluid that's leaking from your tattoo consists of immune cells such as macrophytes, lymphatic fluid, and plasma. Your immune system is what makes your tattoo permanent. Inside your third layer of skin, where most of the ink will reside after a tattoo, your macrophytes will attempt to capture and remove the ink particles. The ink particles, being too heavy and large for those cells to move, become frozen in place, encapsulating the ink particle. Over time, as you age, your body will try to replace that macrophyte with another macrophyte, and what happens is it encapsulates the smaller macrophyte and becomes a much larger macrophyte, so the tattoo doesn't move. And as time goes on, tattoos will be spread out more, and that is just a natural progression. That is your body trying to replace those cells that are encapsulating the ink particles, which makes the ink particle become larger yet dissolved a little bit. So basically there's no way around your tattoo not aging over time. Your tattoo is going to spread out over time. This is just a fact of the matter, and unfortunately there's nothing you can do about that. Once the second skin is put on top of your tattoo, the best thing to do is to leave it alone for at least 3 to 5 days. For the next 3 to 5 days, your body will continue to leak fluid and start to close the pores on the tattoo to try to heal the wound that was just inflicted on your skin. A lot of times the fluid will collect up into a big area and look like what is known as the ink sac. The best thing to do is to just leave it alone and leave the fluid sitting right there inside the sac. Typically speaking, the more saturation that is done on your skin, the more you are going to leak fluid at this point for the next couple days. Now you want to leave this bandage on until it starts to itch just a little bit. This is the point at which you want to take the bandage off. Now the best way to take off this second skin is to get it under hot water, say like in the shower or something. The hot water will help loosen up the adhesive on the bandage. As soon as you get the second skin off, the first thing you want to do is to wash your tattoo with warm soap and water. Just regular old antibacterial soap will work just fine. Lightly lather it and rinse it off with cold water. A lot of the times when you take the bandage off, you're going to see quite a bit of dead dermis on the inside of the bandage. A lot of times you can actually see your tattoo on it. Do not freak out. This is totally normal. This is your body just doing its job. Okay, so you got the bandage off. You got your tattoo washed off. Now what you want to do is basically let it dry as best as you can. Do not use your towel in the bathroom to dry your tattoo at any point in time. Try to use something disposable like a paper towel or a napkin and pat dry your tattoo as best as you can. From here, you're just going to use a non-scented lotion, and you can use this as many times as a day as you want. Your tattoo is basically 85 to 90% healed once you peel this bandage and wash it off. Just make sure it's non-scented lotion, as the scented lotions usually have a negative effect on your skin and will actually dry out your skin instead of moisturizing it. If for any reason you are allergic to latex or adhesives, I do not recommend using the second skin whatsoever. The allergic reaction can cause an inflammation and swelling around the tattoo that can lead to problems later. By day 2 after your tattoo's done, you will know if you're allergic to the bandage or not. At this point, if it is still red, you're going to want to take the bandage off and probably just switch to an ointment. Now, just like before, when you take this bandage off, the first thing you're going to want to do is completely wash your tattoo with soap and water first. Again, let it dry or pat dry with something disposable. Do not use your towel. And at this point, you're just going to put on a paper thin layer of something like Aquaphor or a antibacterial ointment. Usually most of these are going to be petroleum based, so just know that it's going to leave a greasy film on your skin and probably most likely on your clothing as well. And most people tend to put on way too much ointment when they do. So what I like to do is think of putting on the ointment like you're putting on chapstick. Just put on really, really thin layers. If it's too shiny, if it's shiny at all, you probably put too much ointment on. Now, the first thing I would probably do with your tattoo is just put a paper thin layer of ointment over your tattoo. I will not bandage your tattoo. I will not wrap it with saran wrap for any reason, which I'll get into here in a little bit. I would most likely just put a really thin layer of ointment over your tattoo and send you on your way if that was the case. But this is a little bit more risky on you, the client, to take care of it. So it is up to you to basically wash your tattoo with warm soap and water every 2 or 3 hours and put on a paper thin layer of ointment, whatever ointment you prefer to use. You're going to do this 3 to 5 times a day for 3 to 5 days. Try your best not to touch your tattoo during this time. I know it's going to be hard. And if you do have to touch your tattoo or put ointment on your tattoo for any reason, make sure you wash your hands with soap and water first. If you keep your skin nice and moisturized but not too moisturized, in about 3 to 5 days you're going to start getting the exfoliation when your dead skin is going to start to flake off. This is totally normal. Don't freak out. When you get to this point, it is safe to say that you can probably use a non-scented lotion from here on out. If for any reason it burns a little when you put the lotion on your tattoo, it's too soon. You want to wait another day or 2 before you can use the lotion. During this time, the 3 to 5 days of using ointment, you're going to want to look out for any kind of redness, bumps, or swelling, or any heat coming off of it if your body is hotter in that spot. These are all signs of an infection. If you think you have an infection, please go to the doctor. The following is a list of things that I do not recommend you do while your tattoo is healing. Do not use saran wrap to cover your tattoo for any amount of time. Do not use plastic like that. So do not sleep with any saran wrap on your tattoo. This is very bad for it. Do not use any ointment other than an antibacterial ointment for the first 3 to 5 days. Treat your tattoo like road rash, like a minor scrape. Do not go swimming in any body of water for whatsoever reason. And on the opposite side of that, don't go out sitting in the sun for any prolonged period of time while your tattoo is still healing and fresh. Try to keep your tattoo as clean as possible. I know if you might work in a dirty environment, whatever it is, make sure you take the time to just wash your tattoo extra a couple times a day if you have to. Do not go to the gym for at least a couple days after your tattoo session. Heavy exercise produces a lot of sweat, and then that sweat gets trapped into your bandage, and then that can cause an infection. And I've actually personally done it. So the next one's going to be a little difficult for people because I understand people are pickers, but please do not pick your tattoo for any reason. As much as it itches, just slap it with the back of your hand or whatever you got to do to make sure you don't pick the tattoo. Also, don't let your homie slap your tattoo to make sure he sets the ink or whatever it's called. And last but not least, do not ignore any signs of an infection. Signs of an infection would include redness, acne, a bad smell, which is the case if you have a really bad infection, or even a vein that is red or black coming off of the tattoo. If you see any signs of these things or even discoloration in your skin, please consult with your doctor. Now, to finish this video, I'm going to go over some tips to help you take care of your tattoo in the long term. One of the best things you can do in the long term is to really try to avoid sitting outside for any amount of time in the sun. Sun damage to your tattoo will fade it out just like the sun will fade out a milk carton or a newspaper. UV damage is damaging to whatever the substance is. So if you let your tattoo get UV damaged quite a bit, that will have profound effects on your tattoo in years to come. Okay, so that's just going to about do it for this video. Hopefully, if you were one of my clients, you watched this video all the way through so you could get as much information as you can about your aftercare, both short-term and long-term. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I could really use this